We are here, folks. Who's in the chat? Who is in the chat? First YouTube live stream in a very long time, man. The industry is on fire. There's 30,000 people in a Twitter Spaces yelling at each other and yelling about how bad this industry is. What is up, everyone? Drop a message in the chat. We are back on live stream. We're back on live stream, man. We're going to talk about a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff right here. We got there's 30,000 people in this Twitter space right now. And we're definitely gonna hop in there. Some guy says, why such a dramatic clickbait? It isn't dramatic and it's not clickbait. If you think that this industry isn't crumbling right now, something's up. So, somebody said, how do we get Elon to join Twitter Spaces? Oh shoot. Was this Twitter Spaces on? Hold on. Am I still in that somewhere? I don't know if I'm still in the Twitter Spaces, but we got a lot to talk about. Make sure you share this live stream, drop a like and comment, or just drop a like on the live stream. We're doing the daily market update live, man. We're doing it live today, like old times here. What is expected? The bottom of Bitcoin, dude. Honestly, I mean, this thing. If another bad thing happens, we're going under 10K, dude. I don't think there's anybody that shouldn't believe that we're going under 10K. It's crazy. However, Trust Wallet. Who's in Trust Wallet? You guys are making money right now. Trust Wallet's up 68%. This is Binance's custodial wallet or non-custodial wallet. TWT, man. I am not a fan of Trust Wallet at all. I don't hold any. However, this thing's pumping 70%, and this is mainly from people, betting on a good Binance wallet. It's Binance ran. Binance seems to be the king of everything right now. And then we've got Crypto.com as well. Crypto.com is crashing because CZ got on a Twitter Spaces, and he said that Crypto.com is it could be a bit sketchy. Well, he didn't directly say that. He implied that with what he said. It looks like CZ, if you guys saw on CZ Twitter, he said that he's going to be essentially not holding back any information anymore, and he's just going to be talking and literally saying whatever he wants about other exchanges, which is pretty insane. You will get banned if you are spamming in chat, and I would not like to be banned, dude, from my channel. Just focus on yourself and stack fiat. Till then, don't try to catch a falling knife. I agree. You should be trying to stack fiat dollars right now, bro. Stack fiat dollars. Look at HBAR, 4 cents. I contemplated putting some money into HBAR here. You said, should we sell? Dude, if you, why would you lock in losses unless it's for tax purposes right now, right? I've been selling since November 8 of 2021, right? I made a video in 2021, November 8, when Bitcoin was at 69,000, saying that I told you guys my exit strategy, and I said that, yo, I'm going to be starting to take profit here. CZ, what a nice guy, another billionaire weasel. Yeah, CZ, I love CZ. I am a fan of him. However, CZ, bro, you just literally made your reputation go like kind of the other way, because he had this whole savior reputation of looking like he just saved people from FTX and started that whole thing, right? But now it's like he's talked shit on another exchange, and that's kind of gonna ruin that reputation. So also, if you guys are not in the Gold Squad Discord, make sure that you go and join with the link in the description. Everybody is in here. Make sure you go join that. So let's talk a little bit about what's happening in the market right now. Basically, Crypto.com got hit with some speculation, and then we've got KuCoin as well. Why don't I do Litecoin news? Because Litecoin is a shit coin, and you will swiftly be banned from the chat if you do spam that. Gary needs to be in jail with SPF. So what's happening right now? There's a huge Twitter spaces going on right now. BitBoy is in there talking, and BitBoy is now placing the blame on Dan Friedberg, who is apparently busy scrubbing his existence off of the internet, which is insane. And this is he's an FTX, what was he? Chair, let me see what he was. Regulatory officer at FTX, but he was also involved in the Ultimate Bet scandal, which is the poker scandal. And this is the FTX chief regulatory officer. So BitBoy right now, like if you're in this live stream, you are getting the most up-to-date news ever. Like this is live. This is like live right now. And what we could do is go listen to that space. Let me know in the chat, do you guys want to listen to the Twitter space with me? We can hop in there and we can all listen to it together. But this dude, man, this is the dude who set up all the companies and set up everything. But yeah, we could do a reaction to the Twitter space as well. A couple different things though. If crypto crashes, like if this is the catalyst to make all altcoins securities and make all exchanges fall, if we're sitting at that moment right now, I encourage you guys all to check out security tokens. This is not a sponsor or anything. We've been talking about security tokens for a very long time. Here's the security token market, $14 billion market cap only. And here are all the tokens that are actually blockchain tokens, I believe, but they are securities and they're registered with the SEC. So a thing that I can see happening would be basically the altcoins get deemed securities, and then they have to be security tokens, and they will be listed on here. Okay, we do have a super chat from Brom39. Thank you, Brom39. You said, what is the difference between Ethereum and Ethereum 2? So this is a super good beginner question right here. If you guys type in this into here, you will see a bunch of scams using the Ethereum name, such as Baby Ethereum, Ethereum Gold, Bethereum, right? The only Ethereum you want is this. Ethereum 2.0 is an upgrade to this. There is no separate coin or anything. And in fact, that's actually why they changed the branding of Ethereum 2.0. They stopped calling it Ethereum 2.0 because people were thinking it's a separate coin. So there is no difference between ETH and ETH2, unless you're talking about the upgrade, which is that Ethereum 2.0 is now proof of stake, and there's a huge roadmap for that. Can you look into the CRO news? Yes, let's talk about Crypto.com. I just withdrew every penny from centralized exchanges. Make sure you're sharing this live stream with your friends, because we're about to go into the juicy Twitter spaces that's been going on for a while here. My favorite security token is probably INX and XY Labs. XY Labs is the XYO security token. And then INX is a great exchange that I've been watching for a very long time. So let's look at the Crypto.com news. I withdrew all funds from Crypto.com, KuCoin, Binance. If you're feeling, if your withdrawal is pending, just wait. Just wait on it. They should process it. And if they don't, then we know something's going on, and that will start to hit Twitter, and you'll see it happening. ETET, thank you for the super chat. Hi, Mason. I'm from Singapore. Been following you since 2021 November. Always looking forward to your daily market update. Thank you very much for being a subscriber of the channel. ETET, shout out to you for the super chat. We're here with the daily market update, but we're doing it live because it's such a very, very intense moment right now. So I withdrew everything. Ben or BitBoy also withdrew all his funds. He said, I don't necessarily think anything is wrong with Crypto.com. This is my stance as well. I don't think anything is wrong with Crypto.com. However, it is in one of the suspect categories. It is a suspect category. And the reason for this is because Crypto.com has spent a shitload on marketing, right? We saw a common theme is that they go out and buy a sports arena, bro. That's like Crypto.com arena. Is that the real bearable bull? If it is, I appreciate you, bro. I thought you had a verified check on Instagram. I appreciate you, bro, for being in here. The common theme is that they go and buy an arena, right? Crypto.com has the arena. FTX has the arena. And there's already pictures of the FTX arena being taken down. They're taking it down already. So Coinbase or Crypto.com is way overextended in terms of how much they've spent on marketing. James Fowler, thank you for the super chat. I'd like to know your thoughts on Q and Nasara Jasara. White hats winning with the XRP, XLM, and ETH, and most other coins going to zero long term. First of all, I would say white hats are winning. I agree. But there are people that I call purple hats or gray hats, which are in the middle. Okay, and I don't know if that's a term yet, but I've been using that term for a while. Gray hat means that you are in the middle. You're in the middle of black and white hat, and they kind of play their own side. And a purple hat, to me, is someone like Elon Musk. Elon Musk is in the USA, but Biden hates him. And he's like on his own side. He literally wants his own planet. He wants to move to Mars and rule Mars. Like literally. This guy says no such thing as gray hat or purple hat, just the light or the darkness. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Everybody is a gray hat, because even the white hats have done horrible things or thought horrible things in their life. Even just up here, they have horrible thoughts as well. So my thoughts on Q and Nasara Jasara. I don't pay attention to Q and Nasara Jasara. That stuff can sometimes look like it's just a funnel and cycle of never-ending confusion, right? I am tending to look at what's really going on, like instead of speculating. But I mean, they're cool movements. They're cool movements. I like to see any movement come up. And I do agree. Most other coins are going to zero. Steve, I appreciate you. I always see you in the Discord, bro. Thanks for always keeping it real. At least the Vancouver weather is nice this time of year. That's a fact. Appreciate the super chat, bro. It's very nice out right now. So let's keep going here. Crypto.com apparently sent 400 million. Okay, $400 million, something like that, to Gate.io. To Gate.io, out of everybody. Gate.io is a shit exchange. We got how many people on here? I don't even care. Gate.io is trash. And Gate.io is on my top suspect list. Gate.io is a garbage exchange. They're on my top suspect list. Hold on, I got to take my hoodie off because I'm getting hot here. Hold on. Boom. There we go. We got my CoinGecko shirt on. Where is it? Shout out to CoinGecko, man. Gate.io is on my suspect list. I don't mess with Gate.io. However, Crypto.com seemingly sent them $400 million to the wrong address or whatever, and that could have looked like that they were providing funds for Gate.io to take a snapshot of and prove that they have their reserves, right? You know what I'm saying? So all the centralized exchanges are helping each other. So Barack, thank you for the super chat. You said, I don't even know what currency that is, but thank you for the super chat. Everyone will forget about all the current mess in a couple months. As soon as Bitcoin will cross 25,000, FOMO will kick in. Wow. I love to hear the bullish stance. This guy thinks Bitcoin's going to 25,000 and it will, you know, everyone will forget what's happening. Now, I tend to disagree with this. I think this is one of the biggest, most tarnishing things like ever to ever happen to the crypto industry. This is a top 2 exchange that has just crumbled within 100 hours here. And we do have somebody who was well respected in the crypto space now dying. Well, not dying, but his regime is crumbling. So Crypto.com, we did have Chris, who's the CEO. He said the ETH transfers that generated so much FUD and speculation were made over 3 weeks ago. So this is not true about Crypto.com. They didn't do it, but it does look bad, right? It does look bad. Should I withdraw even if I don't use those websites? If your money's in any exchange, bro, it's like this is the time to withdraw. I mean, you could keep it in there. I do have some in Binance. I will admit I do have a little bit, but I did withdraw most of it from Binance. So I do want to put this guy on blast again because BitBoy seemed to get silenced. Do you guys know what happened? Did you guys see what happened? BitBoy posted an article or a story. Let's go to BitBoy's Twitter, because BitBoy's a main player in this. And then let me know again in the chat, do you want me to hop into that Twitter Spaces and just listen in and react to stuff with you guys, okay? Do you want me to hop into that Twitter Spaces? This BitBoy posted this, right? He posted this, and Dan Friedberg did it. SBF is just a fall guy. And if we click this, literally, this is hacked. The websites got hacked instantly. The website got hacked within 30 minutes. So BitBoy posted this trying to expose and use his platform perfectly, like he tends to do recently. For this whole year, BitBoy has used his platform in the most boss-ass way ever. And that's not dick riding or anything. That's me giving respect to somebody who has literally blown open a massive case in this industry. So the site has now been hacked. 30 minutes later, it got hacked. And then if you guys want my thoughts on the general market before we hop into that Twitter Spaces, I mean, this is just bad. I'm not buying anything, and I'm not selling anything. I'm stacking cash, right? If you guys want to learn how to make money in crypto, NFTs, and being a content creator, an internet business, you're going to want to join the Gold Squad Discord, because we have some big things coming for that. Wise Fool 777. I love the name. Wise Fool 777. I love Mason's energy. You work so hard. I appreciate you, bro. I will never, ever disappear off your screen. For the rest of your life, I will be on your screen, on your TV screen, on your laptop, phone, iPad, PC, monitor. I'll be on there talking crazy about everything. Like, if we go to my TikTok, bro, we've been exposing pedophile rings on this channel. Okay, we've been exposing pedophile rings, like shit that could get me banned. Literally. I posted this video about Sam Bankman-Fried, which I think there's going to be some horrible stuff coming out on Sam. Look at them making me do look at this. Are you guys seeing this CAPTCHA? Look at this TikTok captcha. What do I have to do? Yeah. It's very fitting because Sam literally looks like a cow. He looks like that cow, bro. Damn. But this ring, we exposed this with Nikolai, the co-founder of MakerDAO. The co-founder of MakerDAO actually died 3 days after tweeting about an elite pedo ring in the Bahamas, or in the Puerto Rico and the Caribbean islands. So, dude, we've been going crazy. Make sure that you are following me on Twitter as well. Let's hop into the spaces and see what's going on. Should we do that? And I guess we'll just play with the volume slider and I'll comment on certain things, but let's see what's going on in there. This is the most popping Twitter spaces on the internet right now. This has 31,000 people. As you can see, some big names. Brad Garlinghouse was in here. Charles Hoskinson is in here. We have BitBoy speaking as well. So should we join in? Say yes or no in the chat. ETET, thank you for another super chat. You said, thank you, Mason, on sharing utility coins. Did my own research. Makes sense. Interoperability will be mentioned in the next bull market. I agree, bro. I agree. Okay, let's hop in here. Man. Let's hop in the most popping Twitter spaces on the earth. Okay, we just got some Watcher Guru news as well. Let's see. Twitter just fired 4,400 of 5,500 contractors. That's kind of absurd. They've just fired some people. Okay, let's hop in here. Let's see what they're talking about. Let me make sure the volume's right and stuff.
Ben, and it's fair to the people that are critical.
Let me know if you guys can hear it.
Everyone that's on stage right now, we're all focused on what's going to happen next, who's involved in the whole FTX saga, which domino's going to fall next, to try to protect users and try to bring transparency to the space. And we've had a lot of regulators listen to this. Now, if regulators come in and see us talk about shitcoins and stuff, they'll be like, all right, it's going to turn them off further. On the other hand, Ben, would it be fair to say that, and correct me if you disagree, and I'm trying to be very fair and objective.
Yeah.
Would it be fair to kind of summarize the past and with this sentence? Mistakes were made. I don't know intentional or not, because that's obviously, you're the only one that knows that. Mistakes were made. Would you agree that you've made mistakes without, going into detail, and you agree that you regret not some of the things you said, but some of the general sentiment you had? Beyond just an empty apology, like the way that, and you said that earlier, that influencers didn't do enough. Would you put yourself in that basket? Would you say influencers could have done more? They couldn't. Shilling tokens with and then selling your tokens and guaranteeing profits. I'm not saying you guaranteed. I'm not sure if you have or not.
Like, it's all these so things sad that he has
and you
to
know what I'm
forever
referring to. There's
defend
things that were done where in the heat of the moment,
he did
a lot of money involved.
Disclose
would you say
sponsorships back then?
What would you say towards that, just for the people that are critical?
It's horrible.
Yeah, sure, of course. We put out a video, I believe, two Sundays ago, where I apologized for ever doing a sponsored promotional video regarding a token or a coin. I don't think they should ever be done again. I encourage all crypto influencers to never do sponsored content for a token or a coin that has a speculative price attached to it. So I've taken responsibility for that. There definitely were mistakes that were made. But what people have to understand is, were there pump and dumps on my channel? Yes, I take responsibility for that. Was I the person doing the dumping? No. The project that paid for the sponsored content would have me do a video, the price would go up, I wouldn't even have the token, and then they would dump the price. Those did occur. I was taken advantage of, and I was framed to look like this malicious bad actor all the time, and that was never the case. My mistake was the same thing that a lot of people are in right now. My mistake was trusting people too much. I trusted people. I made mistakes, and I take responsibility.
But would you say people trusted you as well, and they trusted me, and they trusted? So I like the first thing you said, though, Ben. The first thing you said is
sorry. Can I weigh in here for 1 second?
Always.
This is off the rails, and I tell you why. The Bitcoin maxis, I just ask everyone to remember, including Michael Saylor and all these big shots, were telling us Bitcoin 100K, Bitcoin 1 million, like never ever sell your Bitcoin, hold on to it because it's going to be 10x, 50x, 100x. Like, what the hell are we doing? This guy came in here was giving us some valuable information about that general counsel and really some good input. Why are we making this about him now? It doesn't matter. The entire community, I've said that yesterday, was in speculation mode. Everyone just had dollar signs in the eyes and was fucking greedy. We cannot now pick on one guy. Everyone did it. So shut the fuck up and let's get back on topic.
I like him.
I'll bring it.
Hold on, guys.
Can I say one thing? Can I say one thing about this real quick? Just because I have my YouTube channel and I've never done a paid or
that's Kyle. Oh yeah, go ahead, Kyle. Sorry.
I've never done a paid or sponsored thing ever, but I do want to say that, like it or not, like influencers will be in this industry forever, and they're actually needed because like projects need a voice and they need someone to talk about what they're doing, and a good influencer, a good will do due diligence and they will do their best to really understand the project. And most, I believe, like when I talk about a project, it's because I've invested in it already. And so that means I've got skin in the game, and I've never ever sold a single token after I talk about a project ever. But we get things wrong sometimes, just like VCs, right? If Alameda or A16Z puts their label on something, that means that people are bullish, and then they're going to go out and buy this thing just because they see that logo on it. But guess what? They get these things wrong too, right? And no one's going after them and saying, well, that didn't work out, so you guys should be responsible, right? It's the same exact thing that happens. And so like, I just think that we need to make sure that the people who are doing good in the industry, the influencers who are doing due diligence and talk about good projects, they're going to get things wrong once in a while, right?
By the way, we've got the founder of Kraken.
If we're moving on to regulations, you can't actually have affiliate schemes. So as a regulated securities business, we're only allowed to pay other regulated securities businesses. So if we're moving over to regulations, you have to actually know how to sell those products in the future with full disclosures and all that stuff. So the industry we're in right now, you can't have the bucket shops that are promoting these things as if we're moving over to that model.
But Simon, it's not paid. That it's not always paid. Like I've never been paid to talk about any project. I talk about projects that I think are interesting or that I invest into. Is that going to be illegal as well?
Well, no. You could just like media can talk about stocks and shares, but if you actually in order to receive transaction,
let me know if you guys want me to get out of here and stop listening to this.
And so if you're dealing with
or you want to stay
security here. Then you actually have to be authorized and have your exams and everything in order to promote those things. So,
and just guys, I will say before Alex jumps in, the CEO and co-founder, I think, the co-founder and CEO of Kraken FX, Kraken
Jesse?
Exchange, Jesse Powell. Yes, I'm trying to bring you up, Jesse.
I think they've been doing something right for a very long time. Kraken has been publishing proof of reserves forever.
Even
I'm
watch
an early
our gurus
investor
in here,
through
bro.
you, Simon. Thank you very much for that. Actually, in Kraken, but I think they are a good example if it's going to be centralized of how to operate.
Yeah, and to add on to it, Kyle, I like to see this, like the exchanges that people are praising and the ones that we're not worried about or less worried about, depending on who you are. Kraken and Binance. CZ was in the space earlier. Kraken's coming up on stage. We had the founder of Paxos. We had the founder of Ripple or CEO of Ripple. And of course, we've got Charles himself from Cardano. But back to exchanges. The exchanges we trust came up on stage. And then the ones we've got concerns about don't want to come up on stage.
Yeah.
It's very ironic to look at to see things.
And I'll tell you the difference with Jesse and Sam Bankman-Fried. Sorry if he's coming up, but it's a long-term Bitcoin investor that set up an exchange versus a short-term trader that made all their money from an arbitrage. That 100%. Came here and went and left. And Jesse.
Okay, so I'm realizing when I do turn the volume down, it doesn't do anything. So right now they're bringing Jesse Powell from Kraken up on stage. Okay. So he's going to talk about it. And I'm going to have to mute it every time I want to jump in here.
Like where the industry goes. But it was the ethics and ethos of the founders that led to the business that followed. And SBF, was the business that followed was about the ethics and ethos of that management team.
Facts. Smash the like button.
Here,
Meg BZK, hello.
I want to, Caitlin, good to have you as well. I want to, before giving the mic to Jesse,
you in the spaces too?
And applauding him coming up on stage. Charles, you've had your hand up for a while, and I'm really grateful you're on stage.
Are you
the
in
mic
there?
is yours.
Thanks, guys. I was trying to pivot a
here
bit
goes
from
Charles.
the whole BitBoy conversation and influencers and these things. There's a broader question here, which is, where do we go from here? You see, FTX, it's going to be something that's discussed for a long time. There's likely going to be congressional hearings about it. The FBI is going to look into it. All kinds of actors are going to look into it. And they're going to find all kinds of dirt, not just with FTX, but transitive connections to basically everybody who is on the institutional side who's played with crypto, because there's just so much money flowing through those channels. And we have a big decision to make. Do we continue doubling down as an industry in this direction and just bail people out, or provide people some people a free pass and say, well, we fixed all the exchanges now, and this new magic regulation is going to make everything better?
Yes, join the Gold Squad Discord.
That
link is in the
core
description.
of all of this is people. And at the end of the rainbow, people will always let you down. People will always make mistakes. They will deceive you. People will lie to you. People will get corrupted. People get old. People get dementia. Things happen. And the point of the technology that this industry has been asserting that it works on, sometimes legitimately, sometimes not so much, is to get people out of the process. So if we want to move forward and be productive, what we need to do is take a list of everywhere people can screw you, and then ask ourselves, can we come up with a protocol or a piece of technology that gets rid of the people that can screw you in this particular process? If you just introduce a regulatory layer, the problem with that is that a human being is involved in that regulation and that oversight. And they have prosecutorial discretion. And sometimes they let things slide. Sometimes they're incompetent. Sometimes they're political hack jobs, and they don't investigate people who should be investigated. Sometimes they get bribed. Sometimes they're friends with people, and they don't look into their friends, or they let their friends get off with a free pass. We saw that in 2008. How many CEOs went to jail, even when there were emails where their trading desks were saying, can't believe we just dumped this crap on people? And there was a congressional hearing. They dragged the CEOs there. They read the emails out. The outrage was there. And at the end of the rainbow, who was put in charge of trying to fix all of it? Timothy Geithner and all these other guys who were just right in the swamp with everyone else. You see, so this is the moment the industry needs to take a step back and ask ourselves, do we actually want to finally solve this problem and get all the consumers, the retail investors, everybody into decentralized things where instead of don't be evil, it's can't be evil? Or is this the moment where we try to find a way to save all these centralized actors and just change the names and the suits and just pretend like somehow it's solved? Because the next crisis is going to be bigger. We're at $3 trillion this round. The last time it was a few $100 billion. The next one will be 10 trillion or 20 trillion. And at that point, the regulators will get so tired of it, they'll say, just hand it all to BlackRock. This is it. And this is the moment for the industry to decide.
I agree with Charles
100%
on this one, and this is what I've been talking about for a very long time. But maybe Caitlin can chime in on this. But a lot of people are looking to regulators to help our space out, and I think that there's some delusion there in how effective that actually is.
Man, put BitBoy back on. So they're gonna put on Jesse Powell though from Kraken here. I'm so sad I missed Brad Garlinghouse on here. Apparently he was getting hated on. So it looks like we're getting raided by some shitcoin called Volt. Volt is an absolute shitcoin. Do not buy it. We're getting raided. Ignore the Volt people in the chat. I'm sorry about them. They are delusional.
Founders. And so I think, personally, this is what I've been advocating for a long time.
Breaking news that just came through.
Oh, some breaking news.
Telegram.
Just quickly, sorry, Kyle. We'll just let me tell Kyle he doesn't know. And whenever there's breaking news, he just jumps in, no matter who's talking, including me. Also, I've got breaking news as well right after chat.
Right.
But I'll let you go with yours first.
All right. So the first one is that Plaid has now suspended FTX.US access to user data after concerning reports. They said that they suspended access to their products as of 11/11/22 at approximately 10:30 p.m. Pacific time. They can no longer FTX can no longer retrieve any financial information via Plaid. Now, there's an interesting piece of this is we were seeing rumors online yesterday, and so I didn't bring these up. These were unconfirmed rumors. There were rumors online yesterday that people's credit cards were attempted to begin getting access by FTX US. This would appear to be basically confirming that Plaid sees that as an actual true concern and then therefore then restricted all that access out. So it looks like there may be more to the story too here on FTX attempting to pull money from people's accounts and financial data. So keep that in mind.
Fucking insane. And my breaking news talking about regulators, is now confirmed that Mick Mulvaney, former chief of staff and head of the budget committee, will join us tomorrow 9 p.m. GST, so which is about the same time, about an hour and a half from now.
Let me know if you guys want to
up for about an hour.
Y'all want me to stay in here or get off here and explore the internet? What do you want to do? We staying in the spaces or no? Drop a yes or no. Stay in or no.
But it's also concerning news that it's coming at such a time. It's just such a bad look for us. But talking about a bad look, I want to go to Jesse.
Can I finish this because I think it's quite important. A lot of I saw some information that maybe FTX moved or unlocked some of the FTT tokens that in Q2 when Alameda probably went under, that was ahead of when it should have been unlocked, right? And the thing is that as long as and that was billions of dollars worth of FTT tokens that shouldn't have been in circulation that then were in circulation, used for collateral. And this kind of stuff happens in this space all the time. Projects have the ability to upgrade their contracts, really change vesting schedules, and they're often selling into retail before they're supposed to, according to the published token economics documents. So these are agreements that essentially that they're making with the public, with VCs, with advisors, with their teams, of saying, hey, this is how our tokens are going to unlock. And this is being abused like you wouldn't believe. I mean, on every single level, on almost all projects. And there's no way that regulators could actually get a hold of this thing on a global level. And so I believe, like for one example, and I would love anyone listening to this to please think of other ways that we can self-regulate the industry and set standards, because standards need to be implemented that we all kind of agree on, that are optional for people to use. But if people don't use these standards, they're going to look like they're shady. So, for example, this token thing, I believe that no project should be able to own the contracts of their token because it's broadly abused. I think that this should be under some sort of DAO that regulates, the changes that could be made to a token. That way, there is no shady business. Because if this would have been implemented already, then we wouldn't have had probably this whole situation, and Alameda would have failed back in Q2, right? So, I would love for people to, and Caitlin, maybe you can give some input on this, but I just think that regulators is not going to do very good for our industries in any respect on a global level.
Well, this is a topic that was heavily debated earlier, and I'd love to get Caitlin's thoughts on it as well, and come back to that topic. I do, considering that we've got a lot of focus now on exchanges, and we had CZ on stage before. We had a few exchanges in the audience that didn't want to come up. Jesse, first I want to applaud you for coming up. Appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Man, what's your first? There hasn't been anyone voicing concerns about Kraken. If anything, has been praise. Kim, Chet, if I got that wrong, let me know. Guys,
the only concern with Kraken is that there was some money that was moved from during the hack to Kraken. Of course, Kraken came out and did stipulate that they had found and located potentially who might be behind that. That would be quite interesting, of course, to hear if there's any more information on that. But yes, as far as we know, there's nothing besides the fact that we know that Kraken was used by one of the hackers.
Kim, you were saying something as well?
Yeah, I was just saying that, Jesse has a great reputation and Kraken has a great reputation. So I would like to hear from him what he thinks the aftermath of this drama is going to be.
Here we go with Jesse.
Thanks, Kim. To answer the first question, I can't say too much about the client accounts. But,
I'll get to the super chat in a second here.
FTX, Alameda, and the execs at those companies, they had a bunch of accounts at Kraken that seemed to be, just legitimate accounts. And that account that you were referring to we believe was accessed by the actual account owner, and there was nothing like suspicious about the login or anything like that. So we ended up just freezing all of those accounts after speaking with law enforcement. So that's the current status. Is basically every account we're aware of that's associated with those guys now is totally frozen and can't make any more withdrawals, even if they seem to be legit.
And regarding Kim's question about what you expect next, it's been, so we had some notable people voice concerns about specific exchanges and in a very subtle way without using names. So I know you probably can't use names either, but what can you tell users and listeners? And later I'd ask you for a similar message for regulators, but we'll stick to users first.
Here we go, man. Who's he gonna call out?
I think the exchange longevity now is something that people really should be looking at. Have the exchanges survived a few bear cycles? When the tide goes out, you see who's been swimming naked or who's been taking, a lot of risk with leverage. So I think that's something to look at. If you see a new exchange pop up in the middle of a bull market and, they seem to be spending a lot of money on advertising and everything, that obviously might be your money, we found out. So I think longevity is worth a lot in the space. If you've survived a few cycles, I think you're more likely to be solvent. I think people should be looking for proof of reserves, which Kraken has done too, just this year. We're planning to do more, next year with broader asset coverage. I think also be aware that the media is just completely botched this whole thing. They were just writing like endless fluff pieces about FTX.
Facts.
They did zero diligence.
Facts.
Even the regulators who had FTX right under their nose the entire time, basically like failed to spot any of this. VCs who should have been doing diligence failed to spot it. So you guys were talking earlier about just like when money's flying around, people just like stop paying attention to obvious signs. And I think everyone needs to remember that you really have to do your own diligence. And, even though Kraken's been around for 11 years, I still encourage people to not keep more money on the exchange than they really have to do their trading and to self-custody as much as possible. Because, just as one example, we just froze all of the FTX accounts, right? So, that could happen to your account too. And as we saw in Canada, when we got an order from the Canadian government to freeze the accounts,
he sounds nervous.
People at the trucker protests, those accounts were frozen without any due process. So even without malfeasance, even without an exchange hack or even without the exchange misappropriating funds, the government could come and steal your funds at any time when they're on a centralized exchange. So people really, if they trust themselves with the self-custody, if they at all can get their funds off of the exchanges, I strongly encourage them to do that and just put the funds back when they're actually ready to trade. And you can't really trust influencers on this. A lot of people got caught up in the contagion of this not because they actually like screwed up and got hacked, or not because they directly misappropriated funds, but they just trusted the wrong custodian. I saw this news that like FTX had required all these companies they invested in to actually keep the money they were investing back in their FTX accounts.
This dude sounds nervous,
that should raise like huge red flags. They seem to be like running around, like basically buying account balances.
Maybe it's because there's 30,000 people on the spaces,
bankruptcies. Also super suspicious. If someone's like overbidding to buy user account balances, why might that be? So there were like a ton of red flags here. I think there are a few more red flags that came up in the last 24 hours about another exchange, which, a big part of this is basically FTX is like complete lack of controls, obviously, right? Like there's very small company, and VCs would talk to us and say, how is FTX getting so much done? They're like 50 people and, they're doing all this stuff. And I'm like, yeah, that's a very good question, because Kraken's security team is 100 people. So how is FTX with 50 people doing everything that, they seem to be doing? And the answer is like, basically they have this like, glass cannon build where they're basically doing nothing on the back end. There's like just nothing under the surface, and everything is a shit show, and your balances are managed on spreadsheets, and Sam at any time can just go and like cut and paste your balance into his balance anytime he wants. And
this is insane, man.
That's like pretty scary, and if you see these like small operations these days, I think it's very hard to start an exchange the way that they have done it with just a very small group of people if you have not built all of this infrastructure first. And I think people just need to be very aware of that, of like kind of what it takes to really operate a secure custodian. And some other mishaps in the industry in the last 24 hours, massive transfer move of like $400 million to the wrong address.
We covered that on crypto.com. Golden Eagle 99, thank you for the super chat. The bottom line with FTX is yes, they did basically screw themselves over with the lending and usage of customer funds. And there was a lot of red flags like he's discussing right now. But thank you for the super chat. Make sure you drop a like on the video. Let's hop back in here.
Minimum. So that's pretty scary, right? That's like indicative of like maybe bigger problems there, bigger lack of controls or auditability or process, where anything could blow up at any time, basically. So I encourage people to like look at these red flags and decide whether they want to stick around at a venue like that and roll the dice, or maybe move their coins to somebody that has proven to be reliable over a longer period of time, or just get the hell out. Just get your coins off and put them in your own wallet. I mean, at this point, we don't know where the contagion is going to spread to next. So, I think the safest bet is to get your coins out, especially for any platform that has been doing like a significant amount of lending. Anyone that might be like heavily over leveraged, that might be running a hedge fund that might have been borrowing or lending tons of coins. Any of those guys, I think, are like at the top of the list for blowing up next. Or anyone who had significant exposure to FTX in one way or another, because we know that they have been required to maybe hold their balances at FTX. So there's just a lot of risk out there right now.
One point you mentioned, I've got a question about how most of us didn't connect the dots. We had concerns, CZ, I don't know if you mentioned it on the space or someone else mentioned it, someone else mentioned CZ had concerns with Sam, but I don't know when that was. I know that Elon got those bad vibes, and I can't remember who else mentioned that they got bad vibes from Sam, the regulator in Saudi Arabia, that FTX was trying to get a license there, had bad vibes from him. But we seem to have missed that as a community. Why do you think that is, Jesse?
It's a very good question. I think that there was money to be made on FTX, maybe because they were market making unprofitably and giving money away. They made it very easy to get onboarded, for which they probably accumulated like a lot of OFAC violations and other kind of like regulatory, potential fines coming at them for that. So, they created a competitive advantage for themselves with the way that they were running the business. So they definitely weren't running it by the same parameters that a regulated business would be confined to. So the things that you could do on FTX, how fast it was to get onboarded, the kind of products that you could trade, how easy it was to circumvent any kind of like geo restrictions on what you could do. They made all that super easy. And so I think that, unfortunately, the market finds a way, and people will find, someone's going to offer a product that's missing in the market, and people will go to it. And I think they won't be that scrutinizing if there aren't many other options out there. And, this situation is sort of created by the regulators. They did not allow Kraken and Coinbase and Gemini and, domestic exchanges in the U.S. to do this stuff. We've been heavily scrutinized. So, it's sort of easier for a new upstart company to emerge and do a bunch of shady stuff than it is these older companies, because these older companies are just constantly under surveillance by the regulators. And, often they'll see me tweet and they'll call us up and ask me like what I'm tweeting about.
That's crazy.
So a new exchange can kind of get away with a lot. And I think that was really valuable to people in a time of extreme hype.
This is like the most popular Twitter Spaces on Twitter right now, folks.
Because of the political donations that were made, there was a totally different layer of protection. Also, the media contacts of the Democratic Party have pushed this guy to the heavens and praised him as this amazing entrepreneur. I've seen some pieces that people tweeted today that were written about him, that he's going to be the first trillionaire.
SBF is not in Argentina, folks.
All these videos about how much money he's given away.
That was fake.
He's presented as this basically next coming of Jesus Christ. And that's, the political donations have opened so many doors for Sam to do all this shit. And that just shows you how corrupt the system is.
The latest on SBF is he's in the Bahamas with the authorities.
You get away with murder.
Yeah, and I think Sam did a really good job of maintaining an image where you can never figure out if he was good or evil. And obviously, we go and we look at all of these videos of him talking about, wanting to save the world. I don't want money because I care about money. I want to give money away. And that shtick, it really goes a long ways to making people think that you're a certain type of person. I like Andrew Tate, obviously very controversial, but he had a take on this where he said, he definitely doesn't trust anybody that says that they don't care about money and all they're doing is trying to get money.
So I do have some breaking news that just came in here again.
Let's see how breaking this news is. Cutting off Bitcoin. Let's see.
Transaction load now finally from Cointelegraph about the amount of Bitcoin that's been removed from exchanges since the FTX collapse. That would be over $3 billion now has been removed from exchanges post the FTX collapse.
Hey, do you have a breakdown? Do you have a breakdown, Chet, of which exchanges and which ones, took the lion's share? I'd be curious. I'm trying to find the information on that. Yeah, if you can.
Hey, Jesse, can I do a question?
Go ahead, Simon. Yeah, and Secret Network, I know you want to speak, but it's a separate topic you want to address, so I'll give you the mic in a bit.
It's specifically this topic because we worked with Alameda and FTX.
Perfect. All right, man. I'll let Simon go, and then I'll let you go as well. But I have a separate question after Simon to Jesse.
Before all of that, I have one important thought that I would like to share. We have such a large audience here now, over 30,000 people, right? The question came up several times today, about how hard it is to actually be off the exchange and have control of your keys and all that. We had so many people yesterday and today say, this is not easy. We have influencers here like Ben. I'm sure there are a couple hundred other people in this massive channel right now that are also influencers. Why don't we make a push as a community to really focus in the next couple of weeks on videos and educational stuff about how to not be on an exchange and how to safely operate, as your own bank. I think that would be some great service that we could do to anyone new who's coming in or anyone who hasn't really no clue how they should go about that. So maybe
I'm in on that. I'm in on that. I agree. Let's do it. We'll make sure we lead the charge on that. We'll put out several videos in the next couple of weeks on cold storage, hot wallets, difference between cold and hot wallets. That's something
which he's been doing for years.
Perfect. And I know you lead a big group of influencers as well. If you can get those influencers, today is the perfect time.
One thing I don't like about this Spaces is I've seen them just like have somebody come up, they ask a question, and they just cut the guy off. Like they just completely don't answer his question. They go on to something else because it's not in the best interest of keeping people in the Twitter Spaces and keeping the numbers up. It's always you always succumb to the numbers, right?
We're the people that came in for get rich quick. They're probably gone already. It's people that are going to be staying. We really need to educate them up from the floor up.
Go ahead, Simon.
Hey Jesse. So one part of the equation is the proof of assets, but there's a big problem with proof of reserves in that we don't know what their liabilities are. So there's one of the challenges with blockchain is that there's a danger of creating a false sense of security, and then there's back end agreements happening or legal contracts on top of that, and who knows what those crypto.com transactions to gate are and what that means. So how do you couple of questions? I mean, they're kind of boring, but they're actually the crux of this issue. That once you got proof of reserves, how do you do proof of liabilities? Which obviously sounds like a centralized accounting job, and now we're seeing some more corruption in the accounting practices. And then also the whole concept of like the Celsius scenario,
not even not even 1,000 likes. Drop a like on the video. What are y'all doing? You're in here watching, but you're not liking.
When the liquidity doesn't exist. You got any thoughts about those kind of liabilities and fake balance sheet? Is really the answer just become a public company type thing? Or
yeah, I mean, you can still scam people after you become a public company, but you know, as you said, you know, you can't really prove a negative with your liabilities. You know, you kind of have to rely on an auditor or, you know, some other. I mean, even the auditors of Enron obviously like screwed this up, right? So it's really hard to, I think, completely understand what the liabilities are, and it's sort of a thing where I think you just have to look at a business over a period of time to try to understand, you know, are they able to kind of keep the thing going? And that's really, I think, the best thing you can look at. You know, you can't, with the proof of reserves, you know, it proves that you have what you owe to your clients, at least at that point in time for the snapshot. And the more often you can do that, I think the harder it is to pull off. And if you have a ton of extra liabilities out there that you haven't stated, you know, I think those just become maybe harder to manage over time as well. And if you continue to publish proof of reserves, you know, the people that you hold those liabilities with, I think, might be more likely to come out and say something as well if they see that maybe you don't have the reserves that you said you did when you were taking the loan from them or whatever it is. So I think it kind of helps with those liabilities as well, just get some transparency around what you actually have. And you're totally right about these tokens like FTT, where you just, you know, make up a number and you put a dollar value on it and you try to defend that, you know, in a very illiquid market, and you use that as collateral to, you know, make yourself loans out of the client balances and stuff like that, you know, and just say that it all kind of like evens out in terms of dollars. You know, obviously that's super shady, and the whole arrangement with Alameda and FTT and, you know, having their own token that they were moving around and trading, it was already like a very suspicious setup. And I think we should look at other companies that are both holding client balances and have their own coin, and, you know, ask whether they might be using that coin as collateral to borrow from their client balances.
Jesse, you mentioned, I want to bring up quickly the point of the transaction that we saw earlier that kind of triggered this, plus Kim's message to start the space again. The Crypto.com transfer to Gate. That we've had an insider at Crypto.com come on earlier, one of the first 100 employees. We've also had another entity that uses the same process or the same software or whatever it was as Crypto.com. They're going to come back and speak. For me, every single indicator and every person that comes up and speaks, it's a red flag. It's a very concerning red flag on what. And another person also mentioned they had various licenses there and they needed to abide by various requirements that wouldn't allow for something like this to happen. The question is more broad, though. How many more exchanges could we expect to fall? And I'm not talking about Crypto.com in this case. I'm talking about in general. And
oh man, nice question.
If we missed the mess with FTX, the one that most of us trusted and was up there with, you know, Binance, FTX, Kraken as the three exchanges to trust. That was the narrative a few days ago. If we missed FTX, let me know
if I should stay in the Twitter space or should I leave.
How many
should we
more
go do something else,
are going to be falling over the next few days and weeks? Because I have a feeling like Chet is going to jump in as I speak and say, breaking news, XYZ exchange is now frozen withdrawals.
Actually, what I was about to break in with was, I'm not sure if this was covered while I was asleep, so I'm going to cover it anyways. The Bahamian securities regulator did not order the FTX to open local withdrawals to Bahamian citizens, as was reported prior. FTX had claimed that they had opened up the withdrawals for that to be the case, or to go to Bohemian citizens, that they were abiding by Bohemian law. The Bohemian regulatory authorities said, no, that's not true. It's categorically not true, and those funds can be taken back and will be taken back. So that is something, in case you all were not aware of it, that is key to know here in this case, because that means that FTX was in the process of this, even before the hack happened. We're already violating laws. We're already violating the way this was supposed to happen in the bankruptcy proceedings.
Yeah, who knows if the hack is even a true story? You know, like, they may have just like orchestrated this hack on themselves in order to come up with a reason why you can't trust the records or the logs.
That's it. That's it. 100%. I was told a week ago there was a fail-safe built in within FTX to execute this. So this 100% what you're saying is true. This was not a hack from outside.
You're saying, Ben, you're saying you have reports, Ben, that was already built into FTX as a fail-safe?
Yes, absolutely. I was told a week ago that when everything started happening, I know I went on Twitter talking about, it must be Sam. Well, in a roundabout way it was. But I was pointed back to that conversation that I had a week ago, because once again, if we go back to Dan Friedberg, however you say it, this is his MO. This is exactly the same thing he did with Absolute Poker and Ultimate Bet. This is how they operate. It was all to clean the books, so more of the records can not be seen, in the investigation. So that's 100% what this was.
Mario, can I comment on this? Because again, like we worked with these individuals. So I can tell you that basically everything, if they said left, then the answer was right. If they said black, then the answer was white.
Wow.
And once somebody tells you enough things enough times and says it's the truth, you can safely assume that every new truth is a lie. Because from the perspective of the projects and the builders who were forced to kind of work in these toxic systems,
thank you.
like we've been building since 2017, but Alameda showed up and suddenly all the incentives got completely warped. The way that projects were forced to work with Alameda was that essentially Alameda was listing FTX perps and taking positions against any of the tokens that they received for market making deals, any of the things that they told projects they would need to do, like store project balances and funds on FTX as an exchange, which then became the collateral that they were using. Again, like, it was a complete Ponzi, but they dominated enough of the system. And the system includes the social system, the communication systems, everybody believing their version of the narrative. They controlled enough of that communication. They sponsored so many podcasts, including Up Only, and they just had their name, their good brand on so many storytellers. Plus, they had leverage with every project because they had their fingers into every project who needed their liquidity making services or that needed FTX perps to have some kind of liquidity, even as they took position against those same projects. Like, consistently, if you hear something is left, believe that it's right. If you hear it's white, believe it's black.
This is the coin
that comes
that's
out of
talking
FTX
right now,
Alameda at this stage and any prior statements, it's not just that we should assume we should ignore it. You should safely assume the opposite.
Yeah, he hit the nail on the head. Every single thing he said is what every project we've talked to has explained to us. Wow. And all this was right under our noses the entire time, and everybody missed it.
So I'm getting an exchange is about to come up on stage. We're trying to bring him up on stage. Please need handle. And
Mario, can I ask my question to Ben while we still have him here?
Yeah, sure, man. And then I want to give the mic to Bill, Fubar, and Dima. But go ahead, Alex.
Thanks, Mario. Ben, so I know you've been doing like a lot of research into, specifically the general counsel who was involved with FTX. I was doing a little digging on my own, and when Ultimate Bets came up, it reminded me of, I think it was like Chico Crypto or someone had covered, but Ultimate Bets was owned by a company called Excapsa Software, and so on their legal team was two people. It was Daniel Friedberg, who is involved with FTX. But then also Stuart Hoegner. And Stuart Hoegner was the general counsel of Tether. It is now the general counsel of Bitfinex. And as I was looking deeper, I saw, just based on the flows of Tether, that from, late 2020 to the end of 2021, about 2/3 of all Tether printed went to two companies. One of them was Alameda and the other was Cumberland. And then I guess just the last thing, tying this all together, obviously Bitfinex and Tether have a history of their own. They had to pay a settlement with the New York AG after they were caught moving hundreds of millions between the two companies. So, I feel like a big theme in all this is like, how can we finally flush, all of the bad actors and the misbehavior out of the system? And this, to me, feels like one of those that's just been floating around. And it's almost like a where there's smoke, there's fire thing. So I'm curious if you've looked into that as well. I'm not even trying to like draw up conspiracies. It's just, it's very interesting that, you know, the same guy that was
Thank you, Terry
also
Dixon.
helping the
I
general
appreciate
counsel at Ultimate Bets has a tie into crypto now.
Yeah, of course. I mean, if you I'm having the Stewart guy looked into right now. His name was not familiar to me, but what I will tell you is there is definitely a huge connection between Tether, Alameda, SPF. You can go back very early on to, you know, there's a lot of speculation regarding, 2017 when the price went up, right? That a lot of it was just worthless Tether being printed out there to inflate prices, and that's really what caused the bull run. How much of that is truth? I don't know. But I do know that supposedly SPF was right up in the middle of all that. That's kind of where he got his start in crypto, would have been, around the Tether printing. So I think really the lesson here that people need to take is that there are leeches in the financial system. These attorneys, these general counsels, they're not big players. We don't look at these people the same way that we look at SPF or we look at bad actors, in the system. But yet they always find their way to attach themselves to what's happening. So I think really every project, every exchange needs to really be looking up and down their list of people they employ and ask themselves the question, do we have a leech here? Is there a leech here that is trying to siphon off money in number of ways? And what else have they been involved in? The fact that Dan Freiberg was involved in Ultimate Bet and he was still allowed to be a general counsel for FTX, that's a problem. And, kind of like we look in politics, I'm not going to get too political or anything like that, but, the idea of drain the swamp, right? What that basically means is there are people that are in power who are not elected, who manage to always be the ones really behind making a lot of these decisions. And I know this from working with regulators and working with politicians is, the chiefs of staff have way more power than the politicians do because they actually stay. The politicians have term limits.
BitBoy brings the smoke
look at the way the
every
system
time he
works
talks.
in politics and say,
time.
like, how do we uproot a lot of these people that aren't voted in, that have been there forever, that are the real snakes? I think we got to ask the same thing in crypto.
Yeah, so sorry.
Reality
on
is not FUD.
Stuart. So
Tage
Peterson,
Peterson,
was the
thank you for
counsel
the
for
little
Shapeshift, which
super
was
chat
founded
right
by
there with the little
Eric Voorhees,
dancing
and then he
gif.
moved over
Appreciate
to
you.
Bitfinex. I've had nothing but a good experience with him. And full disclosure here, I gotta disclose just because of the conversation. I'm a shareholder in Jesse Kraken. I'm a shareholder in Abra Bill. I'm a shareholder in Kim.com's company, and I'm a shareholder in Bitfinex as well. All three banked to the future. So just disclosing the conflicts.
And I've got, before I give the mic to Bill, I do have Mexi about to come up. The vice president at Mexi apparently is coming up on stage. Andrew, we've sent you through an invite.
Ooh,
in the meantime,
this could
Bill,
be good.
Mic is yours. Thanks for coming up.
Mexi is kind of a sus exchange, in my opinion.
Thanks for inviting me up. Appreciate it. So I just wanted to echo a couple of things on reserves. So we're not an exchange. We leverage, qualified custodians as well as exchanges for liquidity, including Binance, Fireblocks, Coinbase, and others. And, we welcome this proof of reserves concept. However, we think it's really 40% of the picture. What we really need is proof of solvency. And, you don't need to be a public company to do proof of solvency. I mean, we're going that route to be a bank followed by hopefully a public company just because we think it's easier. And the irony of that statement is not lost on me, to convince the public that, you are solvent on an ongoing basis. But we think it's incumbent on every centralized exchange to bite the bullet and accept that they're a centralized actor and start publishing full proof of solvency. And anyone who is not willing to sign up for that either is, not being forthright with reality or, is hiding something else. And so, I do applaud the at least the latest efforts to show reserves, but I'll reiterate that it's,
proof of
it doesn't
solvency.
go far enough.
That's dope.
And either you're a centralized actor or you're not. And first of all, I want to applaud Jesse because he and I have known each other for, gosh, Jesse, it's got to be 10 years now. And you've probably been the most forthright person that I know in terms of getting people to get stuff off of exchanges when they don't need to. But I think we can all agree that if we're all going to be centralized players, then we need to step up. And to me, this is one of the key issues to getting there, and probably would have surfaced a lot of issues earlier including issues with other exchanges that people are questioning now, because we see all this money moving around and nobody really understands why. And I just want to get some reaction from people who can affect this to understand why this isn't happening and when it's going to start happening.
By the way, is anyone going to be in Dubai for the Algorand
could you
event right here on the left?
Do you have
screen?
Instant withdrawals on your platform, or when people are they investing for terms?
Yeah, so we have 3 products. We have Trade, Earn, and which is called Boost, and then we have Borrow. Trade, you have real-time 24/7 access to funds. We maintain 100% reserves on Binance and Fireblocks, and we're talking to Binance for a way to publish that, because for us it's an omnibus account. It's not something that we can't just basically publish accounts that we don't own. So we're trying to figure out from Binance how to do that, but effectively it's an omnibus account they own, and users can testify we've never had an issue there with withdrawals. On Boost, if you're a retail customer on Boost, you have we don't offer term products there. So the withdrawal time is the terms of service say 7 days, but I don't get any special treatment. When I've tried it myself, generally I get the funds back within 24 to 36 hours.
Oh, here we go.
Weekends.
BitBoy dropped a link.
The terms of service do.
BitBoy just dropped a link to a Dan Friedberg story that can't be taken down. Oh my goodness, it's on Facebook. Should we go through this? Should we leave the Twitter Spaces and go through this info right here? Oh my goodness, this looks like ghetto. Like he had to drop that on a uncensorable platform, Facebook. Let me know. Should we go through this new info from BitBoy that got... Bro, BitBoy dropped this info and it got hacked within 30 minutes. Like right off the bat, all of the news things got taken down right away. Okay, a lot of yeses. Let's go and do it, and we'll come back to the Twitter Spaces after. Let's look at this, though. What is going on? So the story here is he dropped this exact headline, and he literally, Northwest Lion, I appreciate the super chat, the $5. Dan Friedberg, this dude is he was a regulatory officer at FTX, and he's part of the Ultimate Bet scandal, which I don't know much about, but the Ultimate Bet scandal seems like a poker. BitBoy said it was a poker-related thing where basically this guy figured out a way to see other people's cards, and a lot of people lost a shitload of money in poker because this guy was like scamming people. Here's the Ultimate Bet poker link. And he is tied to FTX. So BitBoy dropped this on a different website, and every single thing got hacked instantly. So we're dealing with some controversial info here. Okay. So it looks like there's a YouTube video too. Let me click on that and get that open. 2 minutes 57. Should we watch this first, or should we read through the stuff first? Let's watch this first. What is this? Let's check it out. Live reaction. I have never seen this. New info. Let's see what BitBoy's talking about. Because even this guy, this Dan Friedberg guy, seems to be who BitBoy wants all the blame on. He does say SBF is trash and a shitty, evil person as well, but this guy's getting more smoke. Here we go. Let's watch this. Oh, hold on. Hold on. We got to unmute this. Hold on. Here we go. So he's talking about counterfeiting the coins. Oh my goodness.
Right.
Yeah.
Somehow the Liquid, I don't know Liquid. They may have counterfeited the coin.
Every centralized exchange creates a synthetic, okay? For the purposes of trading.
All we did is just push a button through an exchange, we didn't intend to do that, certainly. We just, we had the new coin in our exchange account. We sent it to you using the exchange account.
Yeah.
Brandon, I know Facebook is not uncensorable. I was making a joke. So right now he's talking about counterfeiting coins. Like they just clicked a button, and let me turn the volume up in case my volume's low. Oh yeah, it is. Okay, here we go.
Who knows?
Yeah.
I don't know.
All right.
It's because that's not on the blockchain.
Fair enough. But one thing we do agree, if we're right, we're going to make world history, aren't we? And this is going to get a lot of public attention, as you now put it on the table. Let's get some public attention on this, and you explain where the fuck our coins are.
Yeah, no, I don't know.
Yeah, That's right. But guess what? You're quite correct, Dan. The whole world's going to be looking at it. It'll get a lot of media attention.
Bro, he looks so nervous right there. Oh my goodness. So this is clearly this guy on a Zoom call with him, and they're recording the Zoom call with a phone, right? Do you guys see this guy's face? Let's watch it back a little bit. Let's get through this clip, though, and then we'll read the stuff.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's right. But guess what? You're quite correct, Dan. The whole world's going to be looking at it. It'll get a lot of media attention.
I think that's just
yeah. I get it. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's just wait then.
But hopefully, who knows? Maybe they'll come back. Maybe the coin that they send is okay. I hope. I mean, you'll be able, the coin that goes to the black.
Dan, we don't make the accusation unknowingly. I told you it's incontrovertible. It's incontrovertible. There's no ifs. There's no buts. Okay. And what you've just done is try to insult us. And what do you think that's going to achieve when you're wrong? When it's incontrovertible that you guys are wrong, and you're going to add insult. Well, what did you think? No, but what did you think's going to happen? What did you?
It wouldn't be me up there. I wouldn't know.
No, but what did you think?
I'm in no position to comment.
Okay. Well, how about this? How about you'd work it out before you started insulting? What did you think was going to happen if you started insulting?
No, I'm just saying, you guys should have accepted the offer.
Okay. By you insulting me, no. By you insulting me and us right now, what did you think? What did you think you were going to achieve?
I was hoping that possibly to save Hussein from imprisonment.
Hussein from imprisonment because you counterfeited coin.
No, because I'm a kind man, Hussein. Damn. Okay. And I'm just saying that
listen, let's just.
So for context, this guy is Dan Friedberg of Alameda and FTX. He's a regulatory officer there. And the guy filming, I have no idea who he is. We might find out when we go and read through the document. Make sure you share the shit out of this. You are getting the most live info ever on YouTube right now in all of crypto. This is the most live info. BitBoy posted this 8 minutes ago. Ain't nobody have a video out covering this 8 minutes ago. So you're getting the most live info. Like, I'm literally on here scrolling through Twitter. Also, here's the most recent picture of Sam Bankman-Fried. I'm joking. That's funny. Hold on. Here we go.
And this here, you're obviously, I've got no idea what to say in terms of words. You're obviously wasting our time. Let's just finish this here.
Is that Hussein?
That's Hussein. That's Hussein. All right, I've got no doubt. Yeah, let's just not waste each other's time. You obviously just want to hear waste our time. I think let's just end this conversation where we left it.
Okay, so where do we leave it?
Well, let me.
Okay, when we're right, what are you going to do in 1 hour, 2 hours, 5 hours, 12 hours?
Wow, and that's the end of the video. So let's read through this a little bit because I'm sure this is worth our attention. Can we zoom in or something? Actually, can we zoom in? Oh yeah, it works to zoom in. Dope. Okay, we've got some very crazy info right here. This is info that was immediately taken down within 30 minutes. BitBoy tried to post it. Let's go. Dan Friedberg did it. SBF is just a fall guy. Biggest fraud in history, misdirection. Oh my goodness. Oh yeah, I'm going to give BitBoy a retweet. Hold on. We need to retweet BitBoy real quick. We need to retweet BitBoy's thing right quick. That's clearly getting censored as well. I'm gonna use my platform for good, folks. We gotta say read this. We gotta say read this on that because I believe BitBoy's right here, especially like, come on. All the images of Dan Friedberg have been deleted from the internet as the scale of the fraud mounting into the decabillions is discovered. We are distracted by the pantomime being played out with SBF and his gang of 4. It is all misdirection. The puppet master behind the scenes is Dan Friedberg, FTX legal counsel. While the world is leaked stories of drug-fueled sex orgies at the Bahama penthouse of SBF, Harry Potter math defect. Oh my goodness, they're going off on her. Caroline Ellison, Harry Potter math defect. And strange hacks on FTX draining the blah, blah, blah. We don't see much about Dan Friedberg. He is back home scrubbing the internet, destroying all evidence and draining any remaining funds. Sources confirm that search warrants are prepared, freezing orders have started, and arrests await the finalization of immunity deals with witnesses turned state's evidence. One lawyer close to Friedberg is saying that Friedberg is making the rounds, laying the foundations for the reconstructed narrative that it was the Gang of Four and he was on the outside. The financial reporting system was designed deliberately so that only the Gang of Four and Dan, of course, who created it, knew the real financials. That way, like the latest hack that bypasses any alerts, is part of the Friedberg God mode backdoor. Friedberg deliberately chose young millennials he could manipulate. The baby general counsel for FTX that Friedberg installed, Can Sun, is reported as having a breakdown and in tears. What? It appears that the true Boy Scout that remains at FTX is general counsel Ryan Miller. He is prosecutors' best bet at piercing the Friedberg narrative. Friedberg is not just an attorney pulling the strings. He has a long history of fraud. He set up several online businesses, especially in online poker, with the infamous God mode that allowed him and his associates to see all the bets the players were making, their cast position, and vulnerabilities. So this is the poker thing, the ultimate bet scandal, where basically this guy created a thing where you can see the other players' cards in poker. This is the same setup with SBF exchanges, Alameda as a market maker, and competing projects like the shitcoin Solana. So there's a bit more of this. Let's keep going through this because this is the latest. But there is more. Occasionally, Dan would get caught. You can't rob all of the people all of the time forever. Dan nearly did. High-profile people like Ben Affleck get scammed too, but when he got caught, he has a playbook. Number 1, find a patsy, I don't know what that is, and pay them well. 2, use God mode to drain all the funds from the operation so there is nothing for the victims to go after. Number 3, fabricate the evidence, backdated transactions so empty corporate shells are elevated, and get sworn statements from persons who can support the perversion of justice. Number 4, pay off anyone you absolutely have to and shut them up with an NDA. Invariably, they are so financially decimated. Wow. The absolute poker / ultimate bet super user scandal had voice recordings where Dan Friedberg is caught red-handed. Even his coaching of witnesses to give false evidence was leaked. Coaching of witnesses to give false evidence. Wow. Yet somehow he escaped. He didn't even lose his New York law license. Will his connections over the New York Bar Association save him in this global scandal? Okay, so I believe this is the guy that was filming that video. Hussein Faraj, maybe. CEO of New Genesis, wrote to Friedberg back in April 2022. When Friedberg thought he ruled the world as its puppet master, he said, "You are a deeply stupid person." And so it appears. Dan is widely said to be a one-trick pony with limited intellectual capacity allowed to develop in his overinflated hubris. Sure, there will be a deluge of stories about the weird SBF baby executives at Alameda and FTX, too inexperienced to understand how Dan pulled the strings. So this dude is like literally the puppet master. Okay, let's keep going. So this looks like, this is making Sam look a little bit tiny bit better here, to be honest. Tiny bit. The final FTX hack to drain what is left of client funds on FTX exchanges was precisely a God mode style operation. Whilst Kraken claimed to have one side of the transaction, the FTX response team trying to counter the hacker remains unknown. New Genesis, sworn to take down Dan Friedberg as the puppet master, have deployed a multi-level AI system called Navis to isolate the Dan Friedberg modus operandi, going back as far as the chain analysis follows. So who is New Genesis? I've never heard New Genesis, bro. Patsy is a fall guy. Okay, thank you. New Genesis have identified what is now confirmed by Huobi that SBF was behind the collapse of Luna, UST, Three Arrows Capital, and many more, which feature the trademark patterns of uncommercial trades, which are huge loss makers in themselves to trigger the price crash. The market makers do the rest. So literally, bro, Sam Bankman-Fried was behind the Luna and UST and Three Arrows Capital crash right there. So a little bit more here. Friedberg appears to create single-use corporate shells for each dirty transaction. Wow, this may give investors hope that these fraudulent conveyances can be clawed back for the full 6 years permitted under U.S. law, but few hold any real hopes of recovery. Who is behind Friedberg that could protect him? Friedberg was instrumental to using USDC as a means of effecting intelligence sources, paying off the Venezuelan opposition forces to test run the USDC for dirty dealing, with conditions built into the crypto to ensure those receiving it do what they're paid to do. Bro, this is insanity. However, USDC has moved to the control of BlackRock. This is a fact. That's why USDC, I'm pretty confident, is the one that'll stay for a very long time, USDC, because they're under the control of BlackRock. However, I believe BlackRock was also slightly invested in FTX in some way. The intelligence community, especially intelligence, have no real use for Friedberg anymore. He is now a liability. Friedberg may hope that if there is an accident where the Gang of Four, so the Gang of Four is the FTX inner people, Caroline, Sam, and two others, might no longer to be Friedberg may hope that if there is an accident where the Gang of Four might no longer be among the living, his problems are gone. Holy shit. So, if they get killed, those Gang of Four, his problems are gone. All the most damaging and direct evidence of what happened, particularly tying to him, would die with them. Dude, what are we talking about here? Whilst dead man don't talk, New Genesis boasts that Friedberg has continued to underestimate their pioneering technology. That is the same technology that exposed the counterfeit crypto created on FTX exchanges and the fake volume manipulating the markets. As the Biden administration and officials are being dragged into the crypto fraud scandal, the most convenient outcome is that Friedberg is the one who has the accident. Wow, this is insane. In the meantime, the sideshows and misdirection goes on. Crypto influencers are blaming those of their brethren with $50,000 to $100,000 plus per month in FTX sponsorship for endorsing the influx of users on the FTX-controlled exchanges. Now, I don't know where this is coming from. This is potentially bullshit. Are blaming those of their brethren with 50... Oh, okay. So some crypto influencers are blaming other crypto influencers who were sponsored by FTX. Now, that does include Crypto Wendy. Crypto Wendy was sponsored by FTX. However, I am a big fan of Crypto Wendy, and I do not think she's in the wrong for taking a sponsorship deal from the top two biggest exchange in the world when nobody knew about this, right? Also, Altcoin Daily was sponsored by FTX. Even Up Only with Kobe was sponsored by FTX, right? So these people aren't to blame for any of this, right? It was simply a freaking sponsorship deal. I'm an official partner with Binance, right? If any of you guys were reached out to by Binance as if you were a crypto influencer, you would take a deal with Binance. It's just a fact, right? You would take a sponsored deal with Binance. That's pretty cool to be sponsored by the biggest exchange. So this little part about crypto influencers is pretty crazy, but I have seen some people blaming Altcoin Daily and all these other ones that were sponsored by FTX. I've never promoted FTX. I don't even think I have an FTX account, and I feel for anyone who does have that. So let's move on here. Whether it is the sycophantic Max Maher who shilled SBF as the modern-day JP Morgan to save the crypto industry, or Andre Jick is mentioned, Tom Nash, and many others. In defense, they point to the deluge of advertising money that worked with the Miami Heat FTX Arena, enveloped huge investments from Sequoia Capital amongst a large number of VCs, and the celebrity power of Tom Brady, Tom Leary, Larry David, and the list goes on. F1 team Mercedes, TSM Esports, and Major League Baseball even signed up a long-term partnership with FTX. So even these major celebrities and major like companies like the MLB and F1 and all this have actually signed sponsors with FTX as well. And this just justifies all of the sponsorships for crypto influencers, right? That justifies it. Wendy is not to blame. Nobody is to blame. No crypto influencers to blame for this. That justifies it. Like even the MLB and all their vetting people said FTX was good. So we'll finish this up here. The greatest misdirection is the case for regulation. We have the world almost begging to be regulated. Simple minds need simple solutions, clutching for hope that the technocrats will fix things for them. Is any more law than common law fraud relevant here? There is no loophole that SBF avoided. It was simply fraud, counterfeit crypto, and fake volume. This lack of regulation, misdirection, has its own misdirection, that it is portrayed as cryptocurrencies need to be regulated. It is not cryptocurrency that failed here. This is a fact. It is not cryptocurrency who has failed here. Decentralization did not fail. It was the anti-crypto centralized exchanges and monopolies that failed here. Regulating cryptocurrencies and their evolution to put more control in the hands of fewer monopolists close to regulators is precisely what SBF was advocating. There is substantial evidence that at least New Genesis was making submissions to regulators and administrators internationally since March 2022. New Genesis had supplied evidence of counterfeit crypto used on SBF exchanges, fake volume, and consequent fraudulent accounting. Box loads of data and AI-based chain analytics proved the case. They provided video recordings from exchange executives admitting to being instructed from Friedberg to destroy evidence and shift crypto without consent from client accounts. Exchange staff even resigned over it. However, no one listened. All the way, Dan Friedberg and team stalled, delayed, and procrastinated to keep New Genesis from going to court and exposing it all. Where were your regulators? Gary Gensler was meeting with SBF. Where were the legislators? They were meeting SBF lobbyists. Draconian regulation will not substitute for ineffective enforcement. This is a simple case of common law fraud, which all countries of the world have in common. The editors of Inside Crypto make an invitation to Dan Friedberg. We will pay your airfares to come to Lebanon, begging that you sue us. The Lebanese police will take care of your accommodation costs. Holy shit. This is crazy, bro. Navets, thank you for the super chat right there. So this was 53 minutes ago. BitBoy posted that. Make sure you guys go and read that and retweet that and everything. Oh, nice. MegBZK, shout out to you getting that quote tweet from BitBoy right there. Meg says, so Daniel Friedberg was one of... I love how you spelled his name wrong. Good job, Megan. Good job. Spell all evil people's name wrong, just to piss them off. Daniel Friedberg, one of the biggest scammers out there and the person behind Ultimate Bet and Absolute Poker scandals, was chief regulatory officer at FTX. Glad we all did our research. Thanks to BitBoy Crypto again for bringing eyes to the real problems here. This is just a fact. BitBoy Crypto, man, is at the forefront of most of this, right? BitBoy Crypto is at the forefront of most of this. And I noticed he did get off the spaces, the Twitter spaces. So this is insane. Like, this is absolutely crazy. What do you guys think? Like, that was a lot of reading there. Just because it's negative doesn't mean it's true. That is a fact. But this is the real issue. This Friedberg guy, man. Apparently Friedberg is behind it. So make sure you join into the Gold Squad Discord with the link in the description. I don't know how much longer I'm gonna stay on here, but definitely BitBoy. David Schwartz is tweeting out a video. Should we watch this? Should we react to another video, 8 minutes, called "These Influencers Were Scamming Their Fans"? Should we watch that? I don't know. But this is extremely valuable information. Drop a like for the leaked technically leaked information that was immediately hacked down. Biggest fraud. So basically, let's summarize what happened there, okay? They're saying that there's misdirection here, and it's being directed to like be a hit piece on cryptocurrency. So, I mean, this document or this shit right here is basically trying to defend crypto. And I did notice that Richard Hart, if we go to Richard Hart's Twitter, he could be next. Richard could be next, bro. His name's on the list. I swear to God. Watch out. He says cryptocurrency is doing fine. The people using it wrong, not so much. This is a fact. And this is essentially what this article is saying. One of the scary parts of that article was when they said, if the Gang of Four dies, like they literally said, if Sam, Caroline, and the other two, they literally said if they die, his secrets will be like taken with them, right? So this Dan Friedberg guy is really to blame. Philip Hemmerlin, thank you for the super chat right there. LOL, he sure saved the bank. LMAO. Yeah, Bankman-Fried. Technically though, he is contributing to the banks by having his exchange fail, right? Because his exchange fails, and now we have the biggest hit piece ever on crypto. Like, this will stain and tarnish crypto, for years. Oh yeah, Megan, you are a top speller. Like, Megan is, I have never seen somebody spell as good as Megan does. It's just absolutely insane, right? She won every spelling bee back in high school and everything. Boost your intake, extend the stream, and go over important info that others are covering. I mean, you guys just got this before anybody, bro. You will see this stuff come out in headlines tomorrow and the next day, but we're right here live looking at the most important info. And now I'm going to put like a little, oh, wow. Oh, shoot.
A lot of finger pointing is happening right now.
Should we watch this video as well? Hold on. Let me put a I was here comment. I was here on here. Boom. Look at that. I was here. So this video, like, we should probably share this. I'm going to drop this in my Telegram, and I'm going to drop it in the Discord as well. Let's put it in the Telegram right here. Make sure you guys are joined in on the Telegram and the Discord. Join the Discord with the link in the description. Boom, dropping that video right there. And then let's drop it in the Discord as well. Oh my. Hold up. Close that. Boom. Okay. Let's go to the announcements section. I'm going to put it as a main announcement. Yes, there's lots of fake Elon lives. Watch out. Trust Feed, I appreciate you. I appreciate everyone for being in here, man. Drop a like on the stream. By the way, me and Megan will be at Decipher, which is the Algorand event in Dubai on November 28 to 30. Go get your tickets. Here's the link. So join the Discord if you want some tickets. Go get some tickets. Start planning your Dubai trip right now, and you will be able to make it out there. You'll be able to meet us at the event and everything. So let's drop this. Let's spread this crazy stuff. I'm gonna just do a quick message like this, and we'll drop that video, and then I'm also gonna put this Facebook thing in there too, and we're just gonna spread this info, man. Share this live stream, and let's get this info out to everybody that needs to see it, because this is insane. This is insane. I'm also gonna drop this in the Telegram, in the Crypto Mason Telegram. Must read. Boom. We're dropping Facebook links. That's how you know it's real, bro. Facebook links. Oh yes, and that is sponsored by Algorand. So I've been talking about Algorand for a year plus, and none of that has been ever sponsored, but it has came full circle, and Algorand is actually sponsoring me and Megan to bring us out to Dubai and they're sponsoring a couple videos. So it's pretty crazy. The Algorand Foundation reached out. None of my other content on Algorand has ever been sponsored. And if you do see a sponsored video about Algorand, I will disclose that, yes, hello, this is a sponsored video, just like I do on every single thing. Now let's talk about Algorand, dude. 26 cents? I'm freaking buying, bro. Like 26 cents is crazy. This thing has absolutely dumped an insane amount. I don't know why I have this whole thing circled. Oh yeah, I had this circled as an accumulation zone. As you can see right there, like look at this accumulation zone, and then boom, like we've been just you guys want to watch the video? Do we want to watch this live reaction to these influencers were scamming their fans? This is a new one. So this guy came at BitBoy pretty hard, but this is a new one. Should we watch this? Drop a yes in the comments. You want to watch this 8 minutes and 40 seconds live reaction to me talking about influencers scamming their fans, man. That is not what we want to do out here. Okay, well, let's watch it. Let's watch it. Let me mute my music right here and let's go. Here we go.
As FTX Crumbling.
This is probably going to be drama-filled and just a slaughterhouse. Let's see.
And we need to find out who to blame. Since I am the influencer who created T-Rex Inu in order to scam someone, I am the most qualified person to speak on this subject. The finance YouTubers who promoted FTX are under fire right now.
Okay, so he's talking about the ones that literally promoted FTX. Let's see what he says.
Were paid money to promote a company that ultimately went bankrupt and caused customers to lose money. A lot of videos are attacking them. Are they to blame? There is one bad actor here. Sam Bankman-Fried is essentially a degenerate gambler who got greedy and lost. Everyone involved is now taking the blame for one man's actions. FTX had signed a 19-year deal with the Miami basketball arena for $135 million. It was
19-year deal? Holy shit.
Set to be called FTX Arena until 2040. That deal went up in flames. During last year's regular season, the Miami Heat had an attendance of over 800,000 people. In 2022's Eastern Conference Finals, the Boston Celtics beat the Miami Heat in a close Game 7. The game averaged nearly 10 million people watching, with an estimated peak of over 12 million. In case some of you don't watch sports and aren't sure why I mentioned ratings, what do you notice about this image? Between the live audience, people who watched highlights on YouTube, and anyone unaccounted for, we're talking 15 million people being advertised FTX in one night. Major League Baseball has signed a long-term partnership with FTX, making the first time that a North American pro sports league has partnered with a cryptocurrency exchange. The global partnership makes FTX the official crypto exchange brand of MLB. MLB umpires had an FTX patch on their uniforms during games. How many people do you think received an advertisement from FTX while watching MLB games? 5 million, 10 million, 20 million? TSM Esports signs $210 million sponsorship with FTX Crypto Exchange. TSM Esports has a global audience. They were getting $21 million per year for the next 10 years to be sponsored by FTX and advertised to their massive audience around the world. F1 Team Mercedes signed a multi-year sponsorship deal with FTX in September 2021.
By the way, this video was posted by David Schwartz saying you guys should watch this. David of XRP. So right now he's just going and he's crucifying FTX, showing you how much advertising they really did.
Another organization that had a massive worldwide audience sponsored by FTX. The first argument I'm presenting is that FTX had global sponsors with audiences exponentially larger than anyone sponsored on YouTube. From my perspective, if you're looking to place blame and you're a logical and reasonable adult and use a weighted scale, then finance YouTubers should receive such an insignificant amount that it's not even statistically important. Tom Brady and
that's such a good point right there, and that's the point I just had made reading that document.
Gisele Bündchen were featured in this FTX ad as sponsors. Stephen Curry was also an official FTX sponsor as seen in this ad. This FTX ad featuring Larry David has been seen 46 million times. Tom Brady and Stephen Curry are scamming people. Do you understand how much bigger the reach and how much more influence these celebrities have than finance YouTubers? I'm not trying to tell you who to blame. I'm just presenting the argument that if you were someone who's blaming influencers, then those who are reaching 50 to 100 million people probably are a little more at fault than someone with a fraction of the audience size.
So that is showing that he is using his brain. We're not blaming influencers. If there's anyone to blame for promoting FTX, it should be Tom Brady and these people that were reaching 50 to 100 million. That's a great point. However, do you really think Tom Brady knew that this right now would happen? Do you really think that Stephen Curry knew that this would happen? No. Their management said, yo, we have a big crypto exchange deal. They want you to get on camera and do a commercial. That's it. That's all they did. They promoted a top 2 exchange in the world. And at the time when they promoted it, they felt that it was a good exchange. And they got paid. And clearly it's a sponsored thing. Like, they're in a freaking commercial, right? So what's actually wrong with that? Are we going to blame Tom Brady and all them for promoting it? As a crypto influencer, they're not even responsible, bro. There's only one, the FTX team is responsible for this. That's it, right? Like, bro, you can't blame influencers or even these people. So let's see what this guy says. If he starts to try blame Brady and all them, like, to the max, we'll see.
I actually think it's worse than that. I talked to a lot of these guys, and they were fooled. That's the scariest part. So many of these experts who are giving you guys advice totally bought into this Sam character as this genius billionaire, right?
I think CoffeeZilla makes an argument that many in the comment section do, which is finance YouTubers are supposed to be finance experts and they're giving financial advice and they should know better is essentially the argument. Investors who put $2 billion into FTX face scrutiny too. Venture capital firms and investment funds showered the failed crypto exchange and its founder with money. Forbes estimates Sequoia Capital invested $200 million. Paradigm, a fund focused on crypto and Web3 tech, invested an estimated $215 million. You have some of the smartest investors in the world investing $200 million into FTX.
And in my opinion, seeing how smart these people, like Paradigm, and you have all these VCs investing, in my opinion, bro, that's like, clearly nobody knew that this was going to happen. They had everybody convinced and brainwashed. FTX did, right? So nobody who promoted this is to blame at all.
And somehow finance YouTubers should have known it was a scam. That
Facts.
doesn't really add up.
Facts.
I'm sorry, CoffeeZilla, but that's not an argument that
Facts.
holds any weight.
CoffeeZilla
Forbes provided a list
is
of
not right on
institutional investors who gave money to Bankrupt Boy. BlackRock was an investor in FTX. I'm fairly confident that they did more due diligence than anyone and couldn't predict the behavior of one individual. Forbes lists FTX as having 24 different top-notch auditors and financial firms providing services to ensure compliance in a well-run organization. The point I'm making is that if you're someone who is placing the blame on finance YouTubers, then you're stating that they should have known it was a scam, even though hundreds of people had full access to the company and didn't know what was to come.
I think it exposes a big gaping flaw in this influencer world where it's not just the greed, it's just this systemic failure of people to recognize their own lack of expertise.
I strongly disagree with CoffeeZilla here because some of the smartest minds in the world were fooled by Sam because you can't predict what Sam pulled on everyone. Gary Gensler is the sheriff of Wall Street, so why couldn't he rein in Sam Bankman-Fried?
Sam Bankman-Fried, it appears from your calendar, on March 29th, 2022 at 4 p.m. came in and actually met with you.
In an ideal world, the SEC head would have spidey senses for fraudsters. Maybe he is complicit somehow too. And how are we all supposed to know? Even BitBoy Crypto acknowledges that someone being sponsored by FTX isn't the bad guy and that no one knew what was going on. Just in, FTX Telegram admins released statements saying the exchange has been hacked. What we witnessed is one person committing some of the worst financial crimes of our time. SBF deserves to be in jail for defrauding millions of investors and customers and causing absolute financial mayhem. Look, I'm not here to tell you how to think or what to believe. I've just seen so much hate thrown towards finance YouTubers as if they were the problem. This is a situation where one bad actor has caused billions of dollars of harm and no one knew. Influencers are not the problem. I consider CoffeeZilla a good friend and I spoke to him on the phone for about an hour about this topic, but I strongly disagree with his video and I don't think it was fair to influence people into thinking finance YouTubers were the problem. What's funny is I was actually chatting with Tom Nash the night he received the offer to promote
You know what? I respect this guy a lot. A lot. Because someone like CoffeeZilla, bro, has seen millions of views and millions of followers come off of his videos as a result of his videos about influencers. So he has made videos exposing and trashing some crypto and finance YouTubers, and CoffeeZilla has seen millions of views come off that, right? His biggest viewed video is about the FaZe people and exposing them. So he needs to keep perpetuating that influencers are bad in every situation, or he won't get views. So CoffeeZilla has succumbed to views, right? He's succumbing to views. He has to blame the crypto influencers. Whereas this guy, I respect this Stefan guy because he's talking about how no finance crypto influencer or even major celebrity or the MLB or F1 is to blame here
for the problem. What's funny is I was actually chatting with Tom Nash the night he received the offer to promote FTX, and I told him he should partner with them. I'm friends with all of the influencers who promoted FTX, so if you want to get mad at finance YouTubers, you're more than welcome to be mad at me too. Since it was such an obvious scam, apparently, then I'm an idiot too. The result of what happened in Sam's behavior is not what influencers were promoting. If you use a weighted scale, the percent of blame should be as follows: 100% on Sam Bankman-Fried and 0% on others.
Exactly.
Keep in mind that everyone involved here has experienced damages. Every innocent customer has lost their funds. Finance YouTubers have experienced reputational damage. Tom Brady, Gisele Bündchen, Stephen Curry, and others have experienced financial and reputational damage. The Miami Heat and MLB have experienced damages as well. Even the venture capital firms are losers here as they lost multiple hundreds of millions of dollars. If you want to place blame, why not send it to all the numerous VC firms who funded Sam Bankman-Fried? I'd argue that without them, this whole fiasco never happens. With investing, there's variables that you can't predict or plan for, which is where risk comes in. In this case, no one could have predicted the CEO of an exchange would literally take all of his customers' funds and gamble it away. As I'm making this video, reports are saying that FTX getting hacked is likely by an insider, so it's entirely possible that Sam has now hacked into his own company to rug pull the last remaining funds before he goes on the run. If you're someone who has lost money and were influenced to buy crypto on FTX because of a finance YouTuber, it's totally understandable why you'd want to blame them. I love CoffeeZilla and told him I strongly disagreed with his video because when he puts out the video that he did, I think a lot of people are going to place their negative energy towards the wrong people. Andre and Graham and others are taking a lot of heat right now, which I don't think is fair. Their intentions were never to scam people. They are not incompetent financially, and they certainly are not greedy influencers trying to maximize their income at the expense of their followers. If you're someone who thinks Andre and Graham knowingly promoted a scam, then are you saying Stephen Curry, the Miami Heat, MLB, and their lead investors were scamming their fans too? If you aren't, then why not? Even the employees who were in the code base didn't know, but using the same argument, they're grifters out to scam the world too, I guess? In sports, when a team starts to lose or goes on a losing streak, everyone begins pointing the finger at each other looking to place blame. You're seeing this a lot with Russell Wilson right now. The same thing happens when people lose money. Everyone wants to find someone to blame.
This is a great
Sam
video,
and whoever in his close circle are to blame. It's likely we're going to find out that it was a Bernie Madoff level of financial crimes and evil. I enjoy living in a world where everyone has a voice and everyone has the ability to make a video calling people scammers if they feel that way. We all should, because dissenting dialogue is healthy and how we move forward as a group. I want you to voice your opinion even if you disagree. I may even receive heat in the comment section.
This is the biggest facts ever. Like this guy, like shout out to this guy, CoffeeZilla. Come on, bro. Come on. Like I explained why CoffeeZilla is saying that already. But this, we're doing live coverage, man. Live coverage. What is this? Chico Crypto was on to Dan Friedberg 5 months ago. Ooh. Wait, did he take the video down? That guy said skip to 11 something. Let's check out Chico Crypto apparently on to Dan Friedberg. Oh, wow, he was 5 months ago. Let's see.
But where does FTX come into this? Well, looking at a Dan, aka Daniel Friedberg's LinkedIn, we can see he has been with FTX going on 2.5 years as their general counsel and now chief regulatory officer. But I don't see any ex-CAPSA listed in his profile. Well, he leaves that out for good reason. From a Haley's Poker blog who covered the ultimate bet and ex-CAPSA scandal, we can see they say, but even Hogner pales to one Daniel S. Friedberg, one of the true secret bad people behind the ex-CAPSA facade. Friedberg was there from the very start, and his role in online poker matters follows a strange route indeed. Friedberg did quite well for himself, garnering several million shares of ex-CAPSA stock in addition to his pay, with said shares distributed across several different ownership entities. Then the UIGEA happened, the IPO collapsed, and the hasty sale to Absolute Poker was arranged, with the term insider Stanford Miller.
So, Chico Crypto, big shout out to Chico Crypto for covering that 5 months ago. That's pretty insane. But damn, Damn, we've covered a lot in this live stream. I got to get back on doing the YouTube lives, bro. Definitely loving the YouTube lives. But I think we're going to wrap it up there. Maybe I go live later. I don't know. But that is all we've got. Make sure that you are joining the Gold Squad Discord. Join in. It's free with the link in the description. Also, an important thing to do, man, is to get yourself a Ledger Nano X, get a hardware wallet, and get your crypto off exchanges. Get your crypto off exchanges. We've got a referral link in the description that you can use to get yourself a Ledger Nano X. Pay attention for when the discount codes come online. But that is all we've got, man. Make sure you follow my Twitter as well. If you're not following me on Twitter, like, you're literally missing out big time on what's going on. My Twitter's right there. And then my Instagram is also the same as this if you want a more personal look into my content, because I do a lot. I'm not just crypto here. Also, join the Gold Squad Telegram group. I love every single one of you. And we're going to hop off here, man. New intro coming soon. Let's drop that on you. Somebody says, Mason, your intro song still makes me cry every time. We've got a new intro. It will have the same song, though, because I want to keep that song on there. But a new intro, new art. Looks amazing. Smash the like button like Meg is saying in the comments there. MegBZK. Go subscribe to MegBZK as well for more coverage, man. You get 2 market updates per day. Also, we just hit 153,000 subs. We're going to do definitely a massive giveaway at 200K. But it's hard to grow in this bear market, man. Hard to grow. Make sure you drop a like, comment, subscribe, all that influencer bullshit. I love every single one of you, and goodbye.